Welcome, everybody. Welcome, welcome. Anthony, Jimena, how we doing, Natalia? Hey, Edwin. Hey, Heaven. Hey, Jocelyn. Sophia's in the house. Hey, Edith. What's going on? All right. You guys know the drill. There's a poll up on your screen currently, and then give it another couple seconds here. We'll get into our regular announcements. Hi, Isabel. Hi, Naeli. Hello, Mr. Del Rosario. Good to see you. Dr. Castro. Hi, Denali. All right. Let's kick it off with the formalities. All right. Thank you for joining today's class. You know, I'm always excited to see you. Per usual, please turn cameras on. It helps make the session more fun and engaging. And remember those attendance points. They go only to those visible to me. If you have tech issues or school commitments, please message YC staff. We have Will and Chris here tonight with attendance in their name. Yep. Just let them know if you have any issues. No participation, no points. And reminder, please update your Zoom display name, add alumni before your name, student leaders add SL, and please make sure your full name is visible so we can record attendance correctly. Um, there are a few students in here who have the same first name, and thanks for keeping things organized. And we'll get into this poll. I see some people are still jumping in. Tonight, we're talking about accountability. So, which of these best describes how you usually respond? Actually, while we wait for people to come in, I want to start off a little bit differently. Did anybody go to the event this past weekend? I'd love to hear how the experience was. Yeah. Okay, Jocelyn sent me an emoji. Jocelyn, you want to tell me about how the weekend was?
It was interesting. We learned a lot about different careers in the sports industry, like along with medicine. And like my favorite moment was when we did an activity outside where like we kicked or threw a soccer ball at each other without making noises.
How
And
does
then
that work?
well, like I guess we just look at each other in the eye and just kick it to each other.
Okay.
But then, like in the next levels, we could like start incorporating like hand gestures or like eventually our voices.
Okay.
And we had to make sure that everyone got the ball eventually, and it was fun, even though it was super hot outside.
So you're working on, thank you for updating me. Thanks, Jocelyn. So you're working on like nonverbal communication, it sounds like. Got it. Got it. Thank you for that. Okay, we're getting close on the poll here. I'll give you 1 minute. And the question is tonight, which of these best describes how you usually respond to challenges in your life? I look forward to hearing that. When it comes to following through on goals or tasks, yep. Being a youth champion is about owning your growth. All right. Okay. Looks like we have a good number, 11 out of 31. Let's see. Okay, I just want two volunteers real quick. Walk me through one person to answer question number one, tell me about their response, and one person to answer question number two, and then we'll dive into the material. So don't be shy. Let's get somebody going. Let's get somebody going. Anthony, I love hearing from you. So I'm going to start with you. Will you answer question one, and then you can popcorn it to the next person?
All right, one second. Let me close my door.
Yep.
All right, I can't see the poll. What was the question?
Okay, so for question one, we had which of these best describes how you usually respond to challenges in your life? The first option is I wait for somebody else to guide or fix things for me.
Hmm.
The second one
Okay.
is I notice what's happening, but don't always act on it. The third one is I take small steps to handle it myself, even if it's uncomfortable. And the last one is I fully own my actions and look for ways to improve consistently. There's no right
Ugh.
answer. Just tell me your answer. What you
All
got?
right, unfortunately, it was not the last one. I'm not 100% consistent with my things. I think it'll be the third one, right? I do take small steps, but just like that, like Neil Armstrong said, one small step, it could be something big. So, like, let's
See,
say
I knew
track, for
you had a
example, right?
jump for me. I love it. Go ahead. Go
Yeah.
ahead.
So I run track, right? And
Okay.
since last season, I'm kind of rolled, right? So I'm like, how do I like no longer be rolled, right? So I've just been showing it to practice every day, even like when it's really hot. But yeah, just that's like that one small step, you know? So that's what I do. I don't like do 100%, but I do something small every day to make sure I get better.
Okay. Okay. So you're taking small steps, but you are taking action, right? So you still are having some ownership. All right, Anthony, if you want to call on the next person, we're going to do question two with them.
Yeah, it's kind of messed up. I don't want to pick somebody, but on the very top of my screen right next to you, it says heaven.
All right, Heaven, come on in.
Sorry. Um, okay. Oh, I can't see the wait, can you say what question two is? Sorry.
Okay, question two is when it comes to following through on goals or tasks, which statement is most true for you? I often rely on reminders from others to stay on track. I sometimes take action, but not consistently. I usually act on my responsibilities even when no one is watching. And the last one is I consistently take initiative and hold myself accountable.
Oh, mine the second one, which is I think you said not really consistent. No?
So I sometimes take action, but not consistently.
Yeah, that's
Okay,
me.
that's pretty honest. I appreciate that. So you know what you're supposed to do, but it's like sometimes it's off. Give me an example.
For example, like, okay, we have student-led conferences, and it's
Hmm.
part of our school, part of our 8 classes, so 10%, right?
Hmm.
And what's it called? For history, I'm supposed to do this slideshow and present so I can get like the credit and explain to my parents like what's my grade in the class, what I did. And I keep like dismissing it. Like I saw it today on my computer and I saw it on my reminder on my phone. And like I did one slide and I was like, I finished. Like I just didn't want to do it no more. So I feel like
Okay.
I was consistent for like one slide and then I just gave up.
Okay. Well, thank you for being honest. And throughout today, we're going to talk about just how we address that, and maybe we could share it in the breakout rooms. Okay. If we
Yeah.
can pull up the PowerPoint slide. Thank you, Heaven. Thank you, Anthony, for participating, and everybody for doing the poll. I appreciate you. All right. There we go. Okay. So today we're going to talk about accountability. So this workshop is going to explore how personal accountability drives growth, trust, and leadership. And that's trust in yourself too, right? So if there's something that you know that you're responsible for and you said you're going to do it, and you consistently do it, you start to build up confidence and trust in yourself, and others will note that behavior. So you building self-awareness, taking consistent ownership of your actions, and recognizing that effort and responsibility create real change. Like Anthony said, even the small steps are important, but you're taking ownership of that next action. And by practicing that accountability, you'll strengthen reliability and you'll inspire others and develop the mindset and habits of leaders because people are watching your actions and they'll say, and we're going to get Heaven to a place where, oh, Heaven always kind of knocks that presentation out, right? So we'll see that. Let's go to the next slide, please. All right. So last week, you remember with Dr. Ade, you explored small daily habits. I'm going to interrupt here and ask real quick, did anybody change a small habit that they noticed worked for them over this past week? It's okay if you didn't, but if I just want to call out if somebody put this into practice. That's okay. Sakura. Come on in, Sakura. How you doing?
Hi. So usually, when I'm in running, and sometimes I don't, where I finish the workout, but I don't always do cool down. So that's a habit that I started to change. I did that, and then I also started to do what's it, striders, so that I
Okay.
can improve in running, and that's a habit I've been doing, trying for a while.
Okay, awesome. I appreciate you sharing. And it just starts with the first time, then you gotta do it again tomorrow, and then again, then again. Yeah, that's awesome. I appreciate that. And again, simple intentional habits that align with your goals. You see how consistency can create that lasting change. Let's go to the next slide, please. So our goals for today, understand what accountability means, right? So begins with self-awareness and by reflecting on past experiences to take ownership of your story. Dude, dude, excuse my language. I promise you, taking ownership of your story will change your life. The second that you say, I can fix it, this happened, this is what I can do, as opposed to this happened to me, that change in mindset will change your life. Learn how consistent, responsible actions will build reliability and progress, showing effort, follow through. And it's just a series of daily choices. And then you can explore, we're going to explore how accountability strengthens trust and leadership by modeling responsibility, as we've talked about. Let's go to the next slide. Okay, let's go ahead and populate it. So you can't change what you don't see. Accountability begins with recognizing your role in every single situation, the choices, reactions, and mindset you bring, right? So I'm gonna tell you a little story about when I was a sophomore in high school. I was taking a biology class that was pretty difficult, and the teacher was not really like helpful in his explanation. I didn't find it helpful, right? And the text was a little too dense, and I didn't really understand it. And so at that point, I just would complain, right? But my grade was staying as was. I did extra help with the professor, and extra help just confused me more. And so I just kept complaining, complaining. And I remember one time at dinner, I was talking to my sister, and she said, "Well, have you seeing what classes there's other sections of biology, right?" So basically, long story short, is I started talking to my friends who were in other sections and studying with them because the explanation came a little bit better. And I took ownership of, studying online, getting extra materials on my own because again, I was doing what I was responsible for, right? Doing my homework, doing assignments, asking for help, etc. But the outcome was not one that I wanted. And accountable people take responsibility for that outcome. My accountability was to do well in biology. And so if I was not receiving that in class, I still had to get that A. So I had to find other avenues to get there because I was accountable for the outcome and not just saying, listen, I did my best and the teacher's not good, so it's not my fault. That is not accountability. And that starts with self-awareness, right? That builds ownership. So emotional intelligence shows that people who recognize their emotions and triggers are more likely to to take charge of how they respond rather than waiting for others to fix their problems, right? So being aware of like, when you have an emotional response to a responsibility, why am I not doing this? Why am I avoiding this? Why am I stopping after one slide, right? Like what's going on inside me that's stopping me from completing the task? The locus of control theory is people with an internal locus of control, like the control lies inside you. Those who believe they shape their own lives perform better and feel more in control than those who assume others will solve it for them. And responsibility replaces rescue. Many people wait for someone else to help them change, teacher, parent, luck sometimes. The moment you realize no one is coming to save you, I want you to say that to yourself every morning. Nobody's coming to save you. You're responsible. You stop hoping for rescue, and it'll start help you recognizing your ability to respond, and you start to look for solutions. And that takes some time reflecting. Maybe it takes some time a couple times a week or maybe once a day if you can. I understand you have full schedules, but there's research actually published by Harvard that found that taking time to reflect helps people learn from experiences instead of repeating mistakes. Reflection keeps you accountable to yourself. So an example of that is, there are times in my life where I see I keep getting the same outcome over and over and over again. I think I'm doing the right activities, right? I'm not doing anything wrong, but the outcome remains the same. Sometimes you have to just stop and say, okay, I get that I was working hard, but working hard didn't lead to the appropriate outcome. Like, where can I place my activities better to get me that outcome, right? But that means you got to stop for a second and really think honestly about where you could be doing better or direct your energy or maybe bring somebody else in. And then you can get that clarity on what the issue is. And then owning your story gives you power. When you view yourself as the author of your story, you design your life. You move from life happens to me to I create what happens next. All right, let's go to the next slide. All right. So, first workbook question. Think of one area of your life where you've been waiting for something or someone to change. What would it look like if you took full ownership of that outcome starting today? So, we're going to have 90 seconds for everybody, and we're going to play the music here. Go through, answer this question, and then we're going to our breakout rooms. I look forward to you guys sharing with each other and then bringing it back to the main room. All right, let's get started. All right, we're about to break out for 5 minutes. I'll see you on the other side. All right, welcome back. Welcome back. Can you all see? Oh, there I am. Okay. I was a ghost for a second. All right, this is my favorite time of the evening. You guys are running the show. So let me see some hands. Let me know what you talked about in the breakout rooms. All right, Castro, come on in.
So something that and my entire group had in common that we've been waiting for to change is our grades in specific classes. So as soon as we just turn in the work, we're just expected to change randomly. But in fact, we have not been turning in a lot of work, which has caused the grade not to change very much or either to lower. But if we took full ownership of it, we see ourselves turning in the work and actually starting to pay attention to deadlines and even go to tutoring whenever we have questions.
Okay, I'm gonna stay with you here. So is
Mhm.
the issue is not turning in homework, like missed assignments?
Best assignments, yeah.
Okay, and tell me what's like most of the reason people shared that they're not turning in the assignments. I think you said like not knowing
Most,
about them.
most, yeah, most of the reasons is either one, not knowing about them, but our most like answered, most likely reason is because when we come home from school, we're already pretty tired. So we usually just go to bed or like rest up and just end up forgetting about the homework because we're just very tired from school.
So would you say one solution would be, is it the fact of like not writing it down or reviewing it for that five
Or
minutes?
reminding
Or
ourselves, yeah,
okay, okay. So do you think like a 5 minute fix? It's like I know you're tired, but the first thing you do when you get home is just real quick, and then you can go take a
yeah.
nap. Okay.
Mhm.
All right. Thank you, Dr. Castro. All right, Amy, come on in.
For a lot of my group, it was pretty similar with like the procrastination part and like with like assignments and especially since like AP exams are coming up. I mentioned a lot of like studying for that, like to meet the deadlines and stuff. And but one different one was also about like being active, like working out and also like for like different like athletic clubs and like being an athlete and stuff like that and wanting to like better yourself for your club. So that was mainly what my group talked about.
Okay. And on the procrastination front, what's the blocker there? Because I mean, a lot of procrastination is just emotional management. And was anybody self-aware and shared like what they're feeling in that moment or what's blocking them?
It was, I mean, there was one mention of like, distractions like phones and things like that. Um, but what I got from it was also like a lot of having like to push yourself to like, like get to work and like, and especially for something so daunting with like all the exams and things like that. So I do definitely think there was like an emotional aspect to it.
Yeah. The daunting, that's the word, right? That overwhelm, the big monster. The monster's always big in your head though. And then for the phones, I mean, we talked about environmental design. Do we have to revisit that, guys? Where are the phones when you're supposed to be doing homework? Somebody said last week about putting them in drawers. No, we all have to work on it. Thank you. Come on in, Heaven.
So, so what I shared um was taking accountability because I don't know, I guess I got into a point in life where like I don't take anything seriously. I like laugh at everything and it's like really bad. Like, let me give you an example. Hmm. So, oh, okay. So now, sorry. So now at the start of like the class I'm graduating with,
Hmm.
you're recommended, you're required to take 4 years of PE. I'm a sophomore, right? So you're supposed to take 4 years of PE now. Our counselor gave us like a paper. She was like, sign it if you don't want to take PE and you're over 16 already. And I was like, okay. And I kept pushing it back. And she was like, Kevin, like, I'm serious. Like, if you don't turn it in by the end of the week, like, you're gonna take PE. I don't know, like, I felt bad. Like, I apologized right after, but like, I started laughing because I couldn't take it seriously. I don't know why. I apologized. And what's it called? She was like, yeah, you're taking accountability of what you did, but like, why would you laugh? And I was like, I don't know.
Do you think it was a nervous laughter? No. Okay. Well, I mean, so it sounds like that would just be a 2 second, like, just sign it real quick. Did your parents need to sign it or something, or? Okay. Okay. Well, I mean, I think you know the answer on that one, right? You know what you need to do. Awesome. Thank you, Evan. Thanks for coming in. I appreciate everybody participating. I think we had somebody mention something in the chat. Alejandra wanted to add for you personally, be drawing from my own artistic liberties, since I expect eventually I would earn respect for drawing to please people. If I took initiative to actually do what I like, I would have developed a better advantage creative wise and be able to express myself more. Well, you can start today. There you go. And Brian, yeah, phones. Phones are the culprit. They're little casinos. They actually design them that way. Okay, let's go to the next slide, please. Okay, actions reflect responsibility, right? So accountability isn't about saying you'll change, it's about taking consistent action, even when it's uncomfortable or unnoticed, right? So the easiest metaphor is somebody was talking about fitness and getting in shape. It's like that's something that we all say, but when you're working out by yourself, there's no audience, nobody knows, nobody's giving you a high five. That's just something you have to do. So you keep talking about wanting to get in shape, but I just look at what you're doing and you're not doing it. And I speak to myself that way, right? It's like, oh, that's great, Tauren. You want to do X, Y, and Z, but what did you spend your time doing? Phone, TV, whatever distraction is, etc. And the follow through matters, right? So Seven Habits of Highly Effective People by Stephen Covey. I recommend it for everyone. Reminds you that integrity means keeping promises, especially the ones you make to yourself when no one else is checking in. And listen, folks, there'll be times, I think even starting now, but like as you go on in life, that promise you keep to yourself, when you stop having, your parents checking in on you, teachers checking in, it's just you, then you really have to decide, what's important to you, right? Like you can talk about things all you want, but if you want the life that the results that you want, you have to take full ownership and know that you're just doing it for yourself. Nobody's checking. Um, Small choices add up, right? So small daily responsible actions are what others use to judge your reliability. Each action says, I can be counted on. And seriously, so in the professional sense, right? So when you hear somebody, and this is what when it comes time for promotions, when it comes time for hiring, and just like people you want around you, there's certain people who talk about it seems like life is always happening to them, right? It's like, oh, I was late because of traffic and this and that. And they just talk about everything happening to them. Things always seem to happen to them. And then there are other folks who are like, even when it's not their fault, they talk about how they figured it out and what next time they're going to do. They go, oh man, I should have left earlier. That traffic wasn't their fault. There was an accident. But they said, if I tried this other way or next time, maybe I'll use Waze instead of this because it gives me. But you hear them solving a problem. They get straight to the solution rather than being a victim, right? Or just letting life happen. And those are the folks you want to hire, you want to work for, you want them around you because they're resourceful, right? And they take ownership for the outcome. Outcome was I was late. outcome was this wasn't delivered, etc. Um, there's so no one will do the work for you, not coming to save you. And no one's coming to save you. And then effort is going to create change, right? And that all starts up here, right? The mindset research shows that people who believe effort matters take accountability for progress rather than blaming circumstances. All right, so we're going to take 90 seconds here. We've got our second workbook question. Who wants to get some points and read this for us? All right, Edith, come on in.
Write down one area of your life, school, home, or activities where you want better results. What specific action will you take this week to move yourself forward without waiting for anyone else to do it for you?
Thank you. Thank you. All right. So let's go ahead and take your time answering this question. And then we'll go into breakout rooms again. And how will taking action this week influence your progress in the long term? I want you to think about that. All right. Let's go ahead and get started. All right, breakout room time. See you in a second. All right, my friends, welcome back. Let's see those hands. Want to hear what area of life we're working on. Eli, good to see you. Come on in.
Um, what I was saying was an area in my life I want to improve is my school because this week I have a lot of exams coming up. So I want to make sure like I stay on top of it. And an action that I'm gonna take is like holding myself accountable and like not just thinking impulsively. And what I mean is like let's say like my friends are like, oh, after school, let's go hang out and like let's go get like food together. Like being realistic with myself and thinking like, okay, like do should I be spending this time studying instead or should I be hanging out with them? Or like if my family's trying to watch a movie late at night, like holding myself accountable and learning to be like, no, sorry, like I have to study or I want to go to bed early so that I wake up early and on time for like my first period exam. So kind of just like trying to think longer term instead of just acting what I want to do in the moment.
I love that thinking long term. Here, work with me real quick. What's one sentence you can tell yourself in that moment?
I guess like think of what future Eli would want, or like, is what I'm doing, is future Eli gonna be thanking me, or is he gonna be like, bro, you should not have done that?
I love that.
Yeah,
Do it for future me. Give him all the gifts. All right,
yeah.
appreciate you, Eli. Okay, Angelina, come on in.
So for my group, we kind of talked more about like we all had like an academic like area that we wanted to like get better in. And I feel like for me, like I wanna like in my school, my academics, that's like a main one. And I feel like a way I can kind of like get better at it is to like actually like set my time and like say like okay, if I'm gonna like study for this a certain amount of time, I'm only gonna focus on like that specific like thing that I'm doing and like because I feel like I think about like a lot of stuff while I'm doing like one thing so then like I don't even get one thing done or the other one. So I feel like and I heard this like in the field trip too and it kind of like stuck with me now because I'm like oh that makes more sense. So I feel like that's like something that I need to practice like and I'm gonna try like working on that this week. But yeah, like if I'm gonna do something, like actually doing it that way, like I get it done and only focusing on that so that later I can move on to the next thing.
Oh, I really appreciate that. You know, Angelina, I literally been struggling with that. And what I started doing that's been super helpful is a friend of mine showed me this, is I put timers on for the activity. Because I do the same thing. It's like I could be working on something else, or it's like, oh, I should be social, and you just spend the whole time spinning, 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 spinning. But what I found is like when I say, okay, I'm doing this for 90 minutes, start the clock, then I know there's a bound time that I'm not worried about anything else, right? That's super helpful. But thank you for sharing that. Anybody else want to jump in? Let's see who we have. I haven't heard from Kevin. Kevin, do you want to share anything? Kevin Tequila? Did I say that right?
Yeah, sure. An area where I would want to be better at would be school because, well, specifically my homework because usually I procrastinate a lot, and what I should do instead would probably be like get to doing my work as soon as I get it, or if it's too much for me, I could just like split it and like do little by little and get through it.
Yeah, no, I love that. My friend calls it you got to eat the frog first. The thing you want to like do the least, do it first. And also time, like again, I use a timer where I go, okay, if I can't get to it, what if I say I'm gonna do this for 5 minutes? Then my nervous system calms down because 5 minutes, that's easy. I can do 5 minutes of anything. Thank you for sharing, Kevin. Anybody else want to jump in here? I'll give you guys a personal example because you all are very open and honest with me. I'll be open and honest with you, right? So one thing that I've been acting like somebody who doesn't have control is I'm the only person in my family who lives in California. And, you know, I've gone to visit my sister in Texas and my family back in DC, but nobody's come to visit me, right? So we've fallen out of touch. And I've been complaining to my friends about how like family's out of touch and like I miss my family and all of that. Victim, right? And so one thing that I go is I want my family in my life, but they're not doing anything. So I have to take control, right? So I own the outcome. You want your family in your life. You can't sit around waiting for them to reach out. So what I did was I reached out, I talked to my nephew and niece, and then I was able to explicitly tell them, hey, why don't you guys come visit California this summer? It's beautiful. And they're going to come. So I wasted all of this time complaining to other people instead of taking ownership and saying, why don't I just reach out first? Because the outcome is mine. I want to see them. So yeah, so as you see, I struggle too. Just humans, just trying to do better. And that's why I love this class because I learn with you guys. Thank you so much. Let's go to the next slide, please. All right, accountability and leadership. So, here are the great outcomes for this. So, trust is earned through reliability. When people can rely on you, opportunities open. Accountability strengthens leadership because it builds trust, consistency, and respect. Could somebody tell me about one person in your life that you just absolutely know you can rely on? And you don't outside of your parents. We know your parents are reliable, otherwise, you all wouldn't be here. Is there anybody that stands out? One of your classmates, maybe? Maybe a coach, somebody from one of your teams? All right, Edith, come on in.
So to me, I was honestly gonna say my mom, but then you said not say parents. So somebody else that stands out to me is my English teacher. I had her in ninth grade and then in 10th grade. And I still like hang out in like teacher's room, but she's just like she's really open and she listens to everything and she still helps me like with my work, and she's just really trustworthy, and I feel like she's like just a teacher that I can trust and like just tell her if like there's something happening in school.
Yeah. So if you were going to say, I want to be like her, right? Because you admire that, right? What's one character trait that you say I can work on today and model with my friends and my peers?
She's really patient with people. Like, I've heard the crazy things kids have told her because I'm like always there.
Uh-huh.
And oh my gosh, she has patience for this because I would have been like, how do you not know? I said it like 10 times already. But she has a lot of patience to deal with these little high schoolers.
Okay, so you're going to work on patience, is what I'm hearing?
Yeah.
Awesome. I appreciate that. Thank you, Edith. Okay, Heaven, come on in, and then Amy.
Since you said not parents, mine is a person I can rely on is Sophia.
Okay. Ah, one of your peers. Tell me about Sophia.
I can rely on Sophia because there's times in tests where like I really don't know what I'm doing. She helps me review or like in basketball. Um, I sometimes like my confidence is pretty low, and she's like, "No, Heaven, like don't beat yourself up. We're like it's okay. You know, it takes time." Like she encourages me to like keep on going.
Okay, I appreciate that. Hey, shout out. Let's get some emojis for Sophia here. And then Heaven, you don't have to say their name, but do you see how you can, give that same encouragement that Sophia gives you, model that behavior for somebody in your life? You can? All right. Let's go ahead and commit to that. All right, Amy and then Luis. Thank you, Heaven.
For me, it's like it's my Tia because she's just so smart. Like ever since like growing up, I've been like, oh, she knows what she's talking about. She knows this and this, and if she doesn't know, she's always looking to learn. You know what I mean? She's
Yeah.
like she even wants to like she's never done with school. She's always like looking to like learn something that she's interested in, like even afterwards, like and like even like when life hits her because lately you know how life is. Life,
Life be lifing. Yep.
yeah, it hits hard. So, and she just like, and one thing about her is that she's always gonna keep working. Like even when life hits her, she's gonna like push through it. Like because she works like at Amazon, so
Okay.
like she keeps like she always shows up. Even like I feel like when things get like bad for her, like she always makes sure like she has her responsibilities in check, and she's just always someone I feel like I could go to like to advice on like whether it's like personal relationships or even like my schoolwork.
Okay.
So I to me she's just like super reliable.
I love that. I love hearing the lifelong learning, curiosity, and then that resilience, right? Because the thing is that no matter what's going on around you, it's like, the sun keeps going. So you got to keep showing up. That's awesome. And you're going to model that for the rest of us too, right?
I hope so.
Okay. Awesome. Awesome. All right, Luis, come on in.
For me, it's similar like Kevin. For me, it's my friends. Specifically Obed and Octavio.
Hmm.
These are like some great friends I have. In the past, they're who I go to talk about problems and stuff, and they always end up helping me out, in these certain problems. One thing that I really like that Obed did is that when I was struggling with money, or not money, but like I wanted to get a job. He helped me get one, where he was working at. Yeah. So those are people who I can really trust and learn from.
All right, let's get some emojis for Obed, getting people paid. Appreciate you. And then we can all see how we can be there for our friends. That's the definition of friendship. And then we're just going to keep going here for a little bit. Initiative replaces dependence. So that's a great way to go. The best leaders don't look around wondering who's going to make things happen. They take action. Um, just like Amy's Tia, right? When you stop waiting for rescue, you start creating the change, right? You're in charge there. Um, all right, let's go ahead and thank you guys for being so honest. Let's go to the next slide. And we've got our final workbook question. So we're just going to get into it because we're getting close on time. So who in your life demonstrates personal accountability or leadership, right? So you can't use somebody that you said. So I'm going to look for more people to talk about it in your breakout rooms and then some new folks to share out when we're done. So go ahead and dive in for 90 seconds and then go to the breakout room. Breakout room time. See you all in 5 minutes. All right, welcome back. Welcome back. Let's see a hand or two. All right, Heaven's taking all the points tonight. Come on in, Heaven.
Well, in my breakout room, most of us said our parents, and one guy said his sister.
Mm,
And they said that they saw how much, I guess, they like to summarize it, like how much they like worked hard, like the parents, and then the sister, how like she really worked hard and like she's in college and she's achieving things, and that motivates them to, keep pushing even if things get difficult.
I love that. I love that. And I can tell you guys have great parents from everything I've heard in this room. So you can tell your parents that the folks at Youth Champions really admire them. Okay, Diana, come on in. Thank you, Heaven.
Um, for the work question, I put my older sister. I just feel like she's like in everything. Like her whole entire week is always like busy, and she like takes accountability, but like being like more than on time to everything. She like plans out her schedule, what she's gonna do. She makes like a whole agenda, and also she takes like leadership and being like a role model to me and my other little sister, like making sure our future is like steady and good, making us join like a lot of programs and stuff. Yeah.
That's awesome. And you're going to copy some of her habits too, right?
Oh
You
yeah,
got it
I
right
want
there in the
to.
house. Yeah, good, good, good. Thank you, Diana. All right, Eli, come on in.
Um, yeah, I said my mom too. Right now she's getting her PhD at Claremont University.
Wow.
Yeah, and then she also, has a job, has outside responsibilities, and then she handles her relationships and like all her friends. So like I really do look up to her a lot, and I think a specific action I could take from her is like the person prior said, like she uses an agenda a lot. She always writes down everything she needs to do and kind of makes a list of her priorities, and I feel like that's useful because sometimes I feel like overwhelmed with everything I have to do, and I might start focusing on things that don't need that much attention. Like I'll just start cleaning my room out of nowhere when I know I definitely should be doing more important things. So like I think just taking that like agenda and like planning your day out and your responsibilities is a good trait to have.
There you go. I appreciate it, right? Prioritization is big. And then thank you, Eli, for sharing. And then Eli and Diana, no excuses. You got the example in the house. Go talk to them. Do what they're doing. All right, great. We're gonna move along here. Let's go to the next slide. All right. What does being a champion mean to you? So, why do you think we call it youth champions? We use the term champion because we want each student to be the champion of their own life and of their own destiny. And we want you to be able to take ownership of it, right? That's what a lot of the curriculum you've noticed is around. Being a champion is about owning your growth and striving to be your best self, right? It's not about perfection. It's about being responsible for your progress. Progress, not perfection, right? I'm somebody who used to get stuck because trying to get perfect and then you don't move forward. Perfection can be paralyzing. Progress is always good. There's no such thing as bad progress. And accountability to yourself is a foundation of building confidence and resilience. Do it for you. I love the way Eli said it, like, I'm doing it for my future self, right? What would that future self thank me for? And constantly do that thing and make that decision. Okay, and then light up the emojis if you feel like a champion right now. I know I do. Let's go ahead and put some pandas in there. Am I the only one? Okay, there's Jocelyn coming with. All right, I love it. I love it. There we go. Let's go to the next slide, please. All right, so next class, we're going to work on business communication. So we're going to learn how to present yourselves professionally, right? So explore how to communicate effectively and showcase your skills through resumes and cover letters. Oh, you guys are going to get set up so well. You'll learn the importance of first impressions, digital etiquette, and clear, polished communication to build credibility and respect. Your etiquette was fantastic tonight. And you're going to craft a strong personal pitch and tailored application materials. Students, you're going to develop the tools to confidently represent yourself in academic and professional settings. All right. So thank you all for showing up today. I appreciate you. We're going to do 90 seconds to finish up anything that you may not have done. And then if you have any questions for YC staff, you can message them directly in the chat. But let's go ahead and start that timer, and then we'll close out. All right. Thank you so much for getting through it. I'll run through these announcements since we're running late. Okay, so workbook and survey form close this Friday at 5. Don't miss your points. The link is in the chat. Field trip post survey form. If you attended the World Cup Symposium field trip last Sunday, don't forget to complete that post survey. That's also due March 20th at 5. Okay, Ignite Speaker Series. 2 Ignite speakers, 1 powerful night. Join us for the final Ignite session of the spring semester. The 2 speakers are Emily Hayden and Austin Cole Curry. Don't miss this special opportunity to hear stories and insights. The 2 dates. The date of the actual event is April 6th, 6:30 to 7. The RSVP deadline is April 3rd at 5. But if you know you're going to go, just go ahead and knock that out this week. And then the RSVP link is also in the chat bot and the chat box. Earn up to 4 points. Field trip networking event is coming up. I highly recommend you go. Bring students and professionals together for an interactive experience focused on curiosity, communication, and connection. Through meaningful conversations across diverse industries, students build confidence, expand your perspective, and learn how relationship building opens doors to future opportunities. That date is April 12th, 2026. RSVP deadline April 3rd at 5. But just RSVP today while you're thinking about it. Okay, interest form for program year 26-27. We're already there thinking about next school year. By filling out this interest form, you'll stay in the loop and get the latest updates about youth champions. Please note that this form is just to show your interest for now. It's not the official application. Thank you for joining us on this journey. If you have friends who might also be interested in joining, feel free to share the interest form with them. We'd love to connect with more people who want to be part of this program. The link will be in the chat box. And the form will be open until the first week of August. But again, we're not procrastinating, right? Like we talked about. All right, that's it from me. Let's get some emojis on the way out. Thank you so much for your participation. Always great to see you all. And I'll see you again next week. Enjoy this warm weather.